run for Senate would be more likely to end in victory, then that would obviously change things, or vice versa. So, okay, now that's an example from politics. What about an example from sports? Here's an example from LeBron James. So LeBron James is also acts in an instrumentally rational manner. How, you say? Well, I'll show you.
Takes it down to 7 on the shot. Gonna try to close it out with the 3. Yes! LeBron James!
Okay, see what he did right there? What he did right there was what's called a step back three-pointer. Okay, and it's widely considered the worst shot in basketball is widely considered the 22-foot 2-point jump shot. In other words, the jump shot in which you have sort of 1 foot behind the 3-point line and 1 foot in front of the three-point line, which means that you get a 2 points. And it's widely considered the worst shot in basketball because it's not an instrumentally rational shot. You're not maximizing your expected utility by taking that shot. By moving his foot back to behind the 3-point line, a second foot back behind the 3-point line, LeBron James was actually maximizing his expected utility. Okay, so how? Well, as I said, in the NBA, some shots are worth 3 points and others are worth 2, and we can actually go through a similar process for that for James's decision making as we did for Weld's, right? So the preferences, of course, the numerical preferences of LeBron James are, the utility of 3-point shot to him is 3, and of a 2-point shot is 2. Okay, so what are his beliefs? In other words, what are the probabilities of making each shots? Well, let's assume he shoots 33% behind the 3-point line and about 40% from just a foot inside that line. Okay, so then his beliefs are the probability, in other words, of getting in that 2-point shot, where he have left his foot in front of the 3-point line is 0.4, and the probability of making a 3-point shot is 0.33. So the expected value of a 2-point shot, right, is just this, which is 0.8. The expected value of a 3-point shot is this, which is 0.99. Since 0.99 is greater than 0.8, LeBron is maximizing the expected utility by stepping back to hit the 3. Okay. So, I mean, this is, these are sort of stylized examples, but you can actually use this to understand decision making, or at least rational choice theorists argue that you can, and they actually apply it to very many different phenomena in political science, from ethnic war to nuclear proliferation to all sorts of other things. Okay, to voting, for instance. Okay, and to running for office. So in summary, rational choice comes down to the following simply stated ideas. It's an approach that helps explain social phenomena, right? It's about methodological individualism, which means that we, in order to understand, right, politics and political outcomes, we have to understand the basic building block. The basic explanatory building block is the individual, and that's an example of a theory that's methodologically individualist. Okay. Let's see. So individuals are instrumentally rational, which means they act in accord with their preferences for final outcomes and their beliefs about the effectiveness of various actions available to them. And acting rationally requires that they rank final outcomes, they assign utility numbers to them if necessary, as LeBron does, determining the expected utility by weighing the probability of action and selecting essentially the action that has the highest expected utility. Okay, so this, and the argument amongst rational choicers is that people do this similarly throughout the world, regardless of their culture, regardless of the setting. They act in a manner in which they maximize their expected utility. Now, whether that's true or not is another story, and we'll talk about that later on.